Today's chapter is muscular system. Currently, we are studying anatomy part. Anatomy consists of a skeletal system and muscular system. Yesterday, you learned that muscles are made of tissues. Okay, and muscles support the bones, and because of muscles, our bones are not broken. And when we fall down, then muscles protect the bones. Okay, and muscles are also a safeguard for the connective tissues like ligaments, tendons, and fascias. And there are different types of muscles in our body. What normally people understand as muscles are actually skeletal muscles. Skeletal muscles are what we see in our biceps, triceps, thighs, or external part of the body. They are called skeletal muscles. Okay. And second type of muscle is called smooth muscles. So smooth muscles are actually found in the internal organs of the body. All the internal organs, muscles are called smooth muscles. They are very smooth, and their tissues, their surfaces are very smooth. Like our stomach, intestines, urinary bladder, kidneys, these are smooth muscles. Except our heart, because heart muscle is absolutely different, very fine muscle. Therefore, that is special muscle called cardiac muscle. So cardiac muscle is absolutely different than even smooth muscle also. The heart wall's muscular middle layer and the inner wall of our heart is different, very delicate, and that is called cardiac muscle. So cardiac muscles are very delicate, and also that is involuntarily under control. That is not in our control. We can control our skeletal muscle, and somewhat we can control our smooth muscle also, but we cannot control cardiac muscle. Okay. So the skeletal muscle is absolutely voluntary muscles. Voluntary, we can control them. Smooth muscle partly, and cardiac muscle absolutely involuntary. Okay. Now, skeletal muscle tissue features. There are different features of skeletal muscles, and there are major 4 features of skeletal muscles. First is excitability. Our muscles can be excited, skeletal muscles, in response to external stimuli. When muscles receive stimuli in the form of nerve signals from the nervous system, they are excited, and they respond by contraction. So excitability is the first feature of our skeletal muscle. And second feature of skeletal muscle is called contractility, contraction. Excitement is extension, okay, and contraction is the shortening. So skeletal muscles second feature is contraction, contractibility, the ability to shorten. When stimulated, these muscles are shortened. Why? To give the movement, to produce the movement. If muscles will not shorten, then you cannot produce the movement. And a whole muscle can contract 15 to 20% of its normal or resting length. 15 to 20% contraction of the normal shape. Okay. So first you understood first feature of skeletal muscle is excitability. Second feature, contractibility. And third, elasticity. Our skeletal muscle is elastic. And you see, yoga helps in development of flexibility in our muscular muscles. When your muscles are toned, then they have elasticity, toned muscles. Elasticity is actually the ability to return its normal size and shape. That is called elasticity. You stretch and that comes in normal size after contraction or extension. Okay. So when you extend, that is called excitability, and when you contract, so extension and contraction, after these two, our muscles come in natural state, that is called elasticity. And a fourth feature of a skeletal muscle is called extensibility. Extensibility. The capacity to be stretched or extended, that is called extensibility. You know, most of the muscles, skeletal muscles in our bodies are arranged in pairs. Biceps, triceps, In our arm, we have two muscles. So all of the parts, the skeletal muscles are arranged in two pairs. Okay. So that when one contracts, then other is stretched longer. So they support each other. When one is, stretched, then other is contracted. Some muscles can be extended to more than twice their normal size, their normal shape. Okay. And this is called extensibility. Okay. Extensibility. One is stretched and other is contracted. This is called extensibility. So these are four features of our skeletal muscles. Okay. Now, next is smooth muscle tissue features. You understood skeletal muscles feature, four features. Now, smooth muscles tissue features. First is shape. The ability to receive and respond to a stimulus. Muscles receive stimuli in form of nerve signals, from most smooth muscle. The smooth muscles are arranged in layers, different layers. Actually, the skeletal muscles are also in layers, but they are more thicker. Skeletal muscles are more thicker, but smooth muscles are more fine, but they are also in layers. Even cardiac muscles also. Cardiac muscles are finest muscles, but smooth muscles are also layered with, are also arranged in layers. Okay, and they get the signals from the head through nerves, and they change their shapes. They change their shapes. So that is called changing of the shapes. Shape is called smooth muscles first feature. And contractibility is also second feature of smooth muscle. Some smooth muscles tend to shorten with a rhythmic traveling pattern, sending a wave of contraction through its structure. And other smooth muscle retains its contracted state for longer periods. From minutes to hours, they can stay into that state. Okay, so that is called contractility. Example like changing blood vessels width. So the blood vessels width changes because of contractility. Changes of eye pupil diameter and lens shape. Erection of tiny hairs on the skin. Propulsion of urine from kidneys to bladder. Uterine contraction at birth. So all these contractility of smooth muscles is the second feature. So there are only two features of smooth muscles. Okay. Now, yesterday you learned about different movements of joints. Okay, abduction, adductions, and circumduction, elevation, depression. So extension, flexion. You learn all these movements. So while moving our bodies through joints, muscles also change their shapes, okay, according to the features we have learned, the skeletal muscles. Okay. So when we talk about muscular system, then there are different keywords which I have given in a table. You can have a look now, please. Abductor, a muscle that moves the bone away from the body line. Adductor, biceps, brevis, cardiac muscle, depressor, diaphragm. Diaphragm is also muscle, the muscular sheath that separates the thorax and abdomen. Extensor, fascia. If you remember, I had told you about fascia. Fascia is connective tissue, formed into layers, and fascicle for a bundle of muscles or nerve fibers. Flexor, gluteus, insertion. Yeah, insertion. I want to mention here every muscle. In one part, there are pairs of muscles in one part of the body. In some parts, there are multiple muscles arranged. Okay, and every muscle, every muscle originates at one point and inserts into end point. So that is called origination and insertion. So this is origin, peristalsis, rectus. So these are the keywords of muscular system: rectus, rhomboids, rotator, sphincter, tendons, tensor. So these are the words of muscular system. I've given the lateral view of the superficial human muscles. So the skeletal muscles are superficial muscles, skeletal muscles. Okay, and you can see these are medical names, technical names. You don't need to remember all these names technically, because these are technical words. Some words have come from Greek, some Latin. They are not English words. Doctors remember all these names, but some muscles name you remember, like trapezius, triceps, biceps, gluteus. You can remember these muscles. Rectus abdominis, external oblique. These are abdominal muscles. You can remember these muscles names. So this is lateral view. First is lateral view of the muscles. Second is anterior view. You can see in anterior view, these muscles have different name. You can see rectus abdominis. In our abdomen, you can see rectus abdominis and external oblique. Rectus abdominis is middle part, you can see, that is running from up to down. And second is external oblique, abdominal muscle, sideways of abdomen. And in thigh, you can see thigh. Thighs have also different muscles. And you can see origination and insertion of muscles. Every muscle you can see. Tendons of extensor digitorum longus in the feet. You saw lateral muscles. Now see posterior muscles right from the head to the calf muscles. You can see these names, technical names. Trapezius muscle. Trapezius muscle is also very popular in yoga and in physiotherapy. Triceps, bicep, triceps, And external oblique. Please see external oblique from sideways, side view. Most of the fat. Now we have to burn sometimes the fat from this part also. Okay. And then lower back muscle, erector spinae. Then gluteus muscle, gluteus maximus. So in gluteus, there are different parts: gluteus maximus, gluteus minimus. Okay. So that is gluteus maximus. And in thigh, we have also biceps femoris, inner thigh, back part, back thigh. When you do hard asanas, hard stretchings, then sometimes the tears come in this muscle also. So muscles can be torn apart if you pressurize too much, if you give too much pressure. That is why while doing exercises, we have to be very careful. That is why there is purpose of giving this chapter in yoga training. So you have seen superficial muscles from three views: lateral, front and back, anterior, posterior. Now see the deep human muscles. Deep human muscles. They are not superficial but deep. Adductor magnus, adductor longus, obliques internus, levator scapula. Levator scapula. And levator scapula, this muscle has to be flexible and stronger while doing a headstand. In headstand, this plays a role. And now understand their structures. How do they work in harmony with nervous system? So the informations or the instructions or the sensations from the head are transmitted to the muscles through nerves. There is something called motor units. Motor units. Okay. Muscle fibers have to contract quickly when stimulated in order to bring about a given action. And that is because of motor units. And you know, that is yet to come, the nervous system. In nervous system, we'll study about the central nervous system. In central nervous system, there are two things: brain and spinal cord. There are only two parts in central nervous system, and that plays main central role in transmission of the neurons or the instructions from the head. And motor units that is transmitted through central nervous system, brain and spinal cord. And different muscles have different numbers of motor units. And because of these motor units are only the four features of skeletal muscles and the two features of the smooth muscles you have seen, they all happen because of the motor units only. Types of muscle contractions. These are different types of muscles contractions. First is tetanic contractions. In order to produce coordinations, fluid movements, the tetanic contractions take place. When several stimuli are sent to muscle in rapid succession, then tetanic contractions happen. Repeated contractions of sets of muscle fibers are coordinated into sustained overall contraction or tetanus. That is why this is called tetanic contractions. And this is the normal way of muscle contractions. Okay. Second is called twitch contraction. Twitch contractions are very quick, uncoordinated in response to external stimulants or the nerves impulses. It's called twitch contractions. It's very quick. That's why its name is twitch contraction. And next is isotonic contraction. When the tension in muscle remains constant for a long time, that is called isotonic contraction. Like picking up a heavy book result in an isotonic contraction of the biceps in the arm. You can see in the image. And these contractions are concentric and eccentric. Now understand what is concentric contraction. The muscle, while contracting, that they are shortens. Okay, that's called concentric contraction. Shortens of muscles is called concentric. Means muscles are coming into the center, towards the center. And eccentric is when that goes opposite, lengthens even through exerting tension. That's called eccentric. By their names, these are very clear: concentric and eccentric. Concentric is when you pull, when you lift something, in with hands, then the muscles in biceps are in concentric, and eccentric contraction is when you use your muscles to push something. That is called eccentric contraction, eccentric. And the last contraction is called isometric contractions. See, these are the contractions, all contractions, but in contractions also, these are the minute differences. Isometric contractions. In these contractions, the tension increases, but the muscle remains at the same length. When you lift something and when you hold for a long time, then that is called isometric contractions. Okay? And because of contractions only, you show the strength of muscles. Because of contractions. And these contractions are normally found when you are practicing lifting, weightlifting or something lifting, then these contractions take place. Yeah. Now, next is different names of skeletal muscles according to their locations, shapes, and sizes. So muscles names are given according to their locations, shapes, and sizes. For example of locations, the intercostals are muscles that turn between the ribs. That is why that is called costals, intercostals. There's costals. Ribs are called costals. That is why that's called intercostals muscle. The tibialis anterior, the tibialis muscle, we have seen the tibialis muscle, the tibia bone, that is found in our leg. Since that is on the front of tibia bone, therefore its name is tibialis. So these muscles, these are two examples, but there are other muscles also which are named after locations. Similarly, according to their shapes, you can see in the picture trapezius, that is in the back, that is in trapezoid shape. That is why its name is trapezius. Similarly, there are different muscles like deltoid. Delta means triangular. That is why its name is deltoid muscle. Latissimus is called wideness, latissimus. Teres, round. Rhomboid, diamond shape. So these are the names according to their shapes. Now, size. According to their size, there are different names of the muscles. If you remember, I had spoken gluteus maximus and gluteus minimus. Gluteus. Okay. So gluteus maximus muscles are which are maximum in size in our hips. That is why its name is gluteus maximus, and gluteus minimus, that is very minimum part of the gluteus. But entirely that is called gluteus. Okay. Now, the direction of muscle fibers. Muscles are sometimes named for the way in which their fibers run compared with an imaginary line running down the midline of the body. Okay. If you remember, I had spoken the transversus abdominis, rectus abdominis, that was running, transversus. And the rectum, rectus. Rectus means straight. So the rectus femoris or rectus abdominis, rectus femoris is a straight muscle. that runs, the direction is straight. That is why its name is rectus. So rectus femoris, rectus abdominis. And transversus abdominis. So transversus, because that is running at right angles to the midline. That is called transversus. Right angles to the midline. Transverse. And oblique muscle. Oblique means diagonal. Oblique means diagonal. So the oblique, you have seen the abdomen oblique muscles. They are shaped in diagonal. They are located in direction with diagonal direction. That's why its name is oblique muscles. So these are direction of muscles, and therefore their names are according to their direction. Now let us study about muscles of the abdominal wall. This picture will tell you everything. Most important part of the abdominal wall. You see this image. The outer layer is called skin. Okay, and the second layer is called Camper's fascia. You know fascia. Fascias are connective. Camper's fascia. And more inner wall is called Scarpa's fascia. And then behind these, 1, 2, 3, behind these three layers, muscles are located inside. Muscles. Which muscles? Some skeletal muscle and smooth muscles. Okay. So this is the structure of abdominal wall. Now, there are two types of muscles. Okay. Two groups actually, two main groups. One is flat muscles, another is vertical. Okay, three flat muscles situated laterally on either side of the abdomen. These are flat muscles. And vertical muscles, two vertical muscles situated near the midline of the body, vertical. The examples of flat muscles are external oblique, okay, because they are on either side of the abdomen. You have seen from the back view and from the front view also. That is external oblique. And the internal oblique. It is smaller and thinner in structure with its fibers running in perpendicular to the fibers. Internal oblique. Flat muscles, these are flat muscles, okay? And transversus abdominis. This is also flat muscle. And this is the deepest of the flat muscles. This deepest one, transversus abdominis. And their functions are compression of abdominal contents. So we have abdominal contents inside the abdomen, and they play great role. Transversus abdominis. So these are examples of flat muscles. Now vertical muscles. We have seen rectus abdominis. Rectus abdominis is vertical. They are located in the midline of the anterolateral abdominal wall. Rectus abdominis is one vertical muscle. And these muscles assist the flat muscles in compressing the abdominal viscera. The rectus abdominis also stabilizes the pelvis during walking and depressing the ribs. And the second vertical muscle is pyramidalis. Its shape is like pyramid. Okay, this is a small triangular muscle, and that is found to the rectus abdominis. And this is on the pubis bone and the apex of the triangle attached to the linea alba. Pubis bone. And its function is it acts to tense the linea alba. Now, muscle attachments and fibers. You know, the muscles are attached to the bone with tendons. Bones are attached to each other with ligaments, and muscles are attached to the bones with tendons. Now, arrangement of fibers. We have seen the fiber of tendons. Now see the arrangement of fibers. Actually, the muscles are made up of group of fibers called fascicle fascicles arranged in a variety of different patterns. So these muscles are arranged in layers, and these layers are made of fibers. Okay, and they are arranged in parallel, pinnate, convergent, and circular shapes. Circular. And you know what are the actions of fibers? When a muscle fiber contracts, it shortens. So muscles shortens because of muscle fibers. The strength of muscle is determined by the number of fibers, the muscular strength. The lean people do not have strength in their muscles. The lean people or the skinny people, they don't have the number of fibers in their muscles. Therefore, their muscles are not stronger. And the fibers also help in the movement. The range of movement depends on the length of muscle fiber. The longer the fiber, the greater the range of movement. And yoga helps build up the fibers in your muscles. Now, skeleton and muscle care. See, while falling from a balancing asanas, people injure. So there is one accident, falling. Okay. Second is when you put too much pressure on the muscles, too much pressure in any asana or in jumping, like when you jump back and come in the lower plank, or even when you practice a intensive back bend, or like camel pose or the pigeon pose or the full pigeon pose, and we put too much pressure in that case also, our skeletal muscles are affected, damaged. And care, body and environment. First is you must practice yoga in warm environment. Yoga must not be practiced in AC, but yeah, some people cannot, tolerate the heat. But yoga is better practiced in the heat, not the artificial heat, but normal. The winter is not good for our health. Winter season, the cold is not good for our all health. The summer or the heat is good for blood circulation. So that is why when you practice yoga, then that is best if you do not use your AC. Otherwise, if you cannot tolerate, then you can use. Otherwise, because sweating is good. Sweating is good. Okay. So we have to change the habit. Yoga asks you to change your habit of environment and body. Care is when you practice in the yoga, then you see that you start with joints opening, then warm up, then you come into the intensive practice. So if your muscles are not warmed up, then you can damage them. Muscles, ligaments, tendons, all these things. Okay. And sources of help. There are different sources of help, different organizations, different institutions, and don't feel ashamed or don't feel hesitated in contacting if you have any such kind of issues and you are just bearing yourself. You must talk to doctor or talk to a specialist and then to fix these things. Even while doing yoga, when you become teacher, after becoming teacher also, you must remain connected with us during your own practice or during your teaching. If you have any question, then you must feel free to ask us and we'll be glad to answer them. Okay. So, guru always remains guru. Teacher always remains teacher, though you become expert teacher, but your teacher will always remain senior to you. So this is good idea to remain contact in the teacher and to get helps from these sources. Nutrition, nutritious foods are good. Your foods must contain the calcium, calcium, protein, vitamins, minerals. So nutritious foods are good, and vegetables are good. Fibrous foods are good for our muscles and digestion system as well. Okay, minerals, in deficiencies, because of deficiencies of some minerals, our muscles get weaker. Iron, iodine, zinc, magnesium. Energy and calories. Burn of the calories is important for the muscular health, and yoga is the best exercise to burn the calories. Apart from yoga, there are different exercises, running, walking. So these exercises also will help burn the unwanted calories. Obesity is not good for your muscular health. You don't allow the fat to accumulate. Don't allow. Okay. Sleep. Proper sleep is very important. You must sleep at least 6 hours. If you are practicing yoga, then 5 hours are also okay. But normally at least 6 hours, maximum 8 hours. So neither undersleep nor oversleep. Oversleep is also not good. Some believe that if I sleep 10 hours, then I will be happy, healthy. No. Okay. So maximum 8 hours and minimum 5 hours. Body image. Some people become very obsessed with the particular body image. Okay. No, slimness, looking slim. They appreciate that, particularly ladies, they want to look very slim, and therefore they don't allow the muscles to be on their bones. They look very skinny. So that is not good for the bones and the joints, body image. Now exercise, yoga is the best, and also other exercises, aerobics or gym, and running, walking, swimming. These are other exercises. Relaxation. Relaxation can be physical and also mental. And relaxation is essential part of yoga. Fitness and yoga makes your body very fit. Yoga and age, yoga slows down your aging system and you look younger. Okay, thus we have finished anatomy part. Anatomy consists of a skeletal system and muscular system.